So my sentence posting assignment is paragraph 1, sentences 1 and 2, but I want to take a close look at sentence 1 just to, again, help you kind of work through some of this, help you learn my method for translating, and really, educationally, from a pedagogical standpoint, modeling the kind of behavior you want your students to see is a good idea. So that's what I'm going to try to do a little bit more regularly through the semester. So let's take a look here, and I'll read through the sentence for us first. Yosef de ekthe eis Aegypton, kake meta to enai en fulake auton, axios archon egeneto, epitein gain areskon to theo kai en logo kai en ergo. So as I said in the audio file for the vocabulary, when you see a word that is usually like a proper noun or something like that, it's from Hebrew or Aramaic, and it begins with that letter yod, the Hebrew letter yod. It gets transliterated into Greek with an iota. And when an iota followed by a vowel, so it could be an omega, it could be an omicron, could be an eta. But when it's followed by a vowel, it often has kind of a Y sound. So I did not pronounce this as Eoseph. I pronounced it as Yosef. So that's just a peculiarity of Hebrew transliterated into Greek. So Yosef de ekthe eis Aegypton. Joseph was led. Now this day here is postpositive. And Joseph was led or brought. This is aorist passive indicative, third singular of the verb ago. Brought to Egypt and there. So kake is a combination of two words, kai and eke, and there. And there and here we have a preposition and an articular infinitive, something that this chapter introduces. So meta, followed by the accusative, you remember, means after. It would help if I could spell English properly. It means after. Meta plus the genitive means with. So right here we have the accusative article. So this is meta followed by the accusative, and then the verb to be. And this is the infinitive form of ami. The infinitive form is ani. And there have our preposition with our articular infinitive. So we continue on through the rest of the clause just because I'm familiar with how these kinds of prepositional phrases work. Continue on. Here's another prepositional phrase, in prison. And then we have auton, which is masculine singular accusative. Well, this auton here refers back to Joseph, and it is the accusative subject of our infinitive ani. It's the accusative subject of our infinitive ani. So, putting this together, and there, after he was in prison. After he was in prison. You see how all this works? The subject of this infinitive right here is auton, he. He refers, like I said, back to Joseph. And meta, followed by the accusative, means after. So it is kind of convoluted. You cannot do this word for word and expect it to make sense in English. You've got to smooth out your English translation. You can't do it word for word, Greek to English. So after he was in prison, axios archon. This is a masculine singular nominative adjective, and it describes this masculine singular nominative third declension noun. So even though archon is masculine singular nominative, it's got this unusual ending here. We would either think that this could be a participle, or we might think that this could be a genitive plural, since all the genitive plural forms end in omega nu. But this is a third declension noun, so keep that in mind when you see this. So a worthy ruler, egeneto. This is, came about, or something along those lines. Genomai has so many different shades of meaning that it's difficult to always try to translate it the same way in English. So a worthy ruler came about, epitane gain, upon the earth, or on the earth. And here we have areskon, to theo. So remember in your vocabulary list, you saw the verb aresko, which meant I please, and it says followed with a dative. So the person that you please shows up in the dative case. So this worthy ruler is pleasing God. And this is present active participle, masculine singular nominative. And so the antecedent is this worthy ruler here. So a worthy ruler came about upon the earth, pleasing God. Now, just because I've been working with Greek for a while now, this chi is unexpected. I would not expect a chi to show up right there. So I'm already tipped off that something unusual is happening. So chi and logo. I see another prepositional phrase here. And then I've got another chi. Well, remember that when you have chi, we generally translate that into English as both and. And then we have another prepositional phrase here. So this worthy ruler who came about on the earth, he was pleasing God both in word and in deed. See how I did that? It's not and in word and in deed. That makes no sense in English. It's he was pleasing God both in word and in deed. So putting together this entire sentence from beginning to end, but Joseph was brought to Egypt, and there, after he was in prison, a worthy ruler appeared on the earth, pleasing God both in word and in deed.